We got to talk about this. We have got to talk about this right here. And I will call it I don't know what exactly way that I'm going to describe this. But I might call this the quote-unquote the Paige Bueckers problem. And it's not even a problem with Paige Bueckers. I have zero, by the way, against Paige Bueckers.
We need to have an honest conversation about what's happening with Paige Bueckers because a concerning pattern appears to be forming, one that few seem willing to address publicly. There's a growing sense that the league, segments of the media, and even award voters may have reached conclusions about her narrative that don't fully align with what's unfolding on the court. When perception starts drifting away from performance, it can create tension, unrealistic expectations, and unnecessary controversy. The gap between storyline and on-court reality doesn't just affect one player. It shapes discourse, influences recognition, and ultimately impact how the game itself is evaluated.
That she is one of the most talented guards to ever play the game right now. Peak for peak. How many guards all time are you taking over Paige Bueckers? Taurasi, Caitlin. Like, if you consider Swoops. Like, there's not that many peak for peak guards you're taking over Caitlin Clark. Or say not Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers. Even at this point in time.
Let's be clear. Paige Bueckers is undeniably talented. Peak for peak, she's one of the most skilled guards in WNBA history. Her ball handling, court vision, and basketball IQ are all elite level. But talent alone doesn't always translate to results. At this moment, there's a striking disconnect between how Paige is being treated and what she has actually accomplished on the court. The perception surrounding her has outpaced her tangible achievements, creating a narrative that doesn't fully reflect her performance.
Deserved to make the All-Unrivaled First Team. She didn't. She absolutely did not. Winning, first of all, her team was garbage. Her team was absolutely garbage in the regular season. They lost 7 of their last 9 games. The season's 14 games. They went 4-1, if I'm not mistaken, to start the season. And then ended up 6-8. I could be wrong with that, but I think they lost 7 of their last 9 games.
Here's where it gets interesting. The Dallas Wings finished dead last in the WNBA standings in 2024, remaining in the bottom 2 from opening night all the way to the final buzzer. Over the final 2/3 of the season, they went 2-7, posting just a 25% win rate. And yet, somehow, Paige Bueckers was elevated into conversations as a top 5 player in the league. That's not typically how professional sports recognition works, or at least, it's not supposed to.
Comparable stats to Caitlin Clark, and her team was in second. She carried a team who was leading from bell to bell till the second last game in Unrivaled. And had similar stats to Paige. There's no reason why. And by the way, not only that, Stewie got fucked over in her own league. And if you hear, and by the way, I have no doubt about it, the Paige Bueckers is...
In the recent Unrivaled season, Paige Bueckers' team, the Lunar Owls, got off to a strong start at 4-1, but then fell apart, losing 7 of their final 9 games to finish 6-8. Meanwhile, Brittney Sykes delivered similar individual stats while leading Vinyl BC to a second-place finish, carrying her team almost the entire season. Yet when the All-Unrivaled teams were announced, it was Bueckers, not Sykes, who claimed a spot on the first team.
With everything. I heard a 3-minute speech about Paige Bueckers when she got giving her All-Unrivaled First Team. It was like that shit was planned. Genuinely. It was planned that she was first team because when the second team was announced, when the All-Unrivaled second team was announced, lads, do you know what happened? When that second team was announced? The Paige Bueckers fans were like, oh shit. Paige didn't make any All-Unrivaled team because everyone after the second...
The moment the second team was announced without Paige Bueckers' name, her fans panicked. They assumed she'd been left off entirely, and for good reason. A 6-8 team that collapsed down the stretch doesn't typically earn a first-team nod over a player like Brittney Sykes, who nearly carried her squad to the finals. But then came the first-team announcement, accompanied by a 3-minute speech praising Bueckers. It felt rehearsed, calculated, as if the decision had been made long before the season even ended.
It was Kelsey Plum, who, by the way, everyone knew one of Kelsey Plum or Aaliyah Boston was going to, and they're going to win MVP. The other one's going to win MVP. If they give Chelsea Gray or Paige Bueckers MVP, just end Unrivaled right now as a serious basketball league. But like everyone, even the Paige fans thought she didn't make it, and that's fine. By the way, I think Paige and Chelsea Gray, if both of them are going to be on that first team, fair enough. Fair enough. Like if you're going to put Chelsea Gray on there, Chelsea Gray was Paige with more moments. Chelsea Gray was slightly better in Unrivaled, but I'm not saying Chelsea Gray was that much better than Paige in Unrivaled. Like, she wasn't. Chelsea Gray's team lost almost every game as well.
Think about who got passed over. Brittney Sykes posted numbers comparable to Paige Bueckers while leading Vinyl BC to a second-place finish, serving as the engine that kept her team competitive almost until the final weekend. Meanwhile, Breanna Stewart, one of the greatest players of all time, had an outstanding Unrivaled season and still didn't make first team. Stewart finished her WNBA season playing on a torn meniscus, dropping 30 points in an elimination game as her entire team collapsed around her against Phoenix. And that's a player being ranked below Paige right now.
Absolutely, and I would have had no real issue with Paige appearing on the second team. I would have had no issue. Like, I genuinely, I thought the Stewie was better than her. I thought Stewie getting absolutely robbed, but I also think you could argue that Paige Bueckers is better than Alicia Gray. I think Sykes was better than Paige. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Sykes was better than Paige. Aaliyah Boston was better than Paige, and Stewie was better than Paige. And it seems like with everything, with the way everything's talked about.
Here's what makes this situation so problematic. When you give someone awards they haven't earned, you're not doing them any favors. You're setting them up for inevitable backlash. Paige Bueckers doesn't need artificial elevation. Her talent is more than enough to reach these heights on her own. But by pushing her into conversation she's not yet ready for, by handing her accolades that other players earn more legitimately, you create resentment. Not necessarily toward Paige herself, but toward a system that is clearly playing favorites.